Welcome to the Rose Kennedy Greenway. Thank you all for coming today to the dedication of Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank Chin Park on the Greenway. Designated by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts this year, it honors the Chin's lifelong commitment to Boston's Chinatown. My name is Jesse Brackenbury. I'm the Executive Director of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. The Greenway is the contemporary public park in the heart of Boston, welcoming millions annually to gather, play, unwind, and explore. The Conservancy manages all aspects of the Greenway, including horticulture, programming, public art, maintenance, and improvements. In Chin Park on the Greenway this summer, the Conservancy is partnering with the Pow Arts Center, Berkeley School of Music, Asian Community Development Corporation, Chinatown Main Street, and many others to bring free Zumba classes, free Tai Chi classes, 27 play program sessions, and multiple major festivals. Special this fall will be the Concert for One, brought to you by the Celebrity Series Boston. And just this afternoon, if you want to stick around a little bit longer, the Wang YMCA is doing a free Zumba class at 5 o'clock right here on the plaza. This park truly highlights what public space can bring to a community, serving as a gathering space, a place to unwind for visitors and residents of Chinatown. Our hugely successful public-private partnership, in that we work collaboratively with community, philanthropic, and government stakeholders. I want to acknowledge Uncle Frank, today's honoree. The elected officials who are here today, Governor Charlie Baker, Representative Erin Michaelwitz, Ways and Means Committee Chair, Senator Joe Boncore, City of Boston Chief Chris Cook, City Councilors Ed Flynn and Michelle Wu, and Greenway Conservancy board members who are here. We have Kim Sherman-Stamler and Rebecca Lee and Mark Boyle. Thank you to all of you for your volunteer service. As well as former board member James Chan of the Jihao Tin Family Association, who did so much to bring today's event about. James, where are you? As well as former board member Helen Chin-Schlichty. Thank you. Angela Menino, I hear, is here, as well as Commissioners Finn and Gross and former Councilor Linehan and Councilor Councilor Sabi George. Thank you. Yes, and now, let me introduce Representative Michaelwitz to kick off the program today. This is the 10-year anniversary both of the Greenway, but also of the representative's election. And he has been a friend to the Conservancy for these many long years, and appreciate that. Erin, thank you for coming up.
Thank you, Jesse. And I just want to first start off by saying, let's give Jesse a round of applause for all he does for the Greenway Conservancy. Thank you. And there was a couple former elected officials that Jesse didn't mention because there are a lot of elected officials and former elected officials here, so that was easy to miss. But first and foremost, former Congressman Mike Capuano is here. Where's Cap? Where is he? And then my former boss, former Speaker Sal DeMacy, is here as well. So thank you for having us here today, and thank you for coming. This is a great crowd. I love seeing all the friends, all the family members, everyone that's here today. because it is such an important day, because we are honoring two people, Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank, that are not just friends of ours. We consider them family. I think they are our family. They have been part of our lives for so many years, and there's no better way to honor them than to dedicate this park in their honor. I had the honor and the privilege to actually tell Uncle Frank that we were doing this, and I was a little nervous because he doesn't like recognition, as many of us know. He doesn't like to be called out on things. He doesn't like people to recognize him on stuff. And so I called up James and I called up Steven, and I was like, I need you guys to be with me, stand with me, protect me, because I know he's going to immediately shoot this down. But I think it was such an honor because of what Uncle Frank has meant to a lot of us. He gives us, a lot of us elected officials, he obviously gives us a lot of political advice, but he also gives us a lot of personal advice. And he always tries to make sure that we're looking, 5 steps ahead. We're keeping our eyes on the prize, but we're looking way ahead. And, that has served me so well. I talk about people that are friends and people that are, that are close to you. And, I mentioned this on occasion that someone's really that close to you when you don't even know the first time you actually met them, because they've been that important in your life and been that big of a part of your life for so long. And that's how it is for me with Uncle Frank. I met him sometime when I was a teenager. I was working for Mayor Menino part-time when I first started working, when I just got out of high school. And somewhere along that time, I became friends with him. I got lucky enough to go work for Speaker DeMacy in 2004, who obviously represented Chinatown for so many years, and got to develop our friendship from that point forward, even more so. And then obviously when I first ran 10 years ago, he was a big part of that first election, and has been a big part of my political life and my personal life since then. And so today is such a great day to honor him. But he wouldn't be doing this unless we were honoring Auntie Kay as well. Let's make that first and foremost very clear. And the reason why it's so important that the two of them are together here in this park forever, for this name to ever be named with the both of them, is because their story is so unique to a lot of stories that you hear out there. Their story is about immigrants coming to this country and building a life for themselves. Their story is about not just coming to this country, but then becoming part of the community and making it your home and making it part of everyday life that you do. It's so thoughtful or so meaningful that this is one of the first things you'll see when you walk into Chinatown, because Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank are Chinatown. And Chinatown is Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank. They are intertwined like any two people in any community that I've represented, or any two people that I've dealt with in any political world that I've been part of. So, there goes that one. It made so much sense, and it's going to be a perfect symbolism to this neighborhood. Okay. Good thing these aren't my speeches. But it makes such perfect symbolism to the future, and the Greenway has done such a great job of cultivating this neighborhood and making it a part of everything that the Conservancy wants to do, that forever from this day forward, Uncle Frank and Auntie Kay are going to be part of that assimilation, are going to be part of that, symbolico related to this neighborhood. So it is such a great day. It is such an honor to be here. I thank everyone for their support and making this possible and getting to this point in time today. And thank you, Uncle Frank and Auntie Kay, for everything you've done for all of us. It's truly an honor. So now my job next is to introduce my counterpart. Nothing gets done in the legislature without partners. Nothing gets done on the House side or the Senate side without each other. And I'm so blessed and lucky to have a senator that works so well hand in hand over the years, not just for Chinatown, but for the entire district that we serve. And that's Joe Boncory. Thank you, Joe, for being here.
Thank you, Aaron, and what a wonderful day it is here today. But this neighborhood really owes a debt of gratitude to our previous speaker. Nothing gets done in the legislature without all parties, but nothing gets done without someone taking an initiative. And it was Aaron Michaelwitz who called me and said, let's do this for Uncle Frank. It was his initiative, and I just want to recognize Aaron Michaelwitz today for all he's done for this neighborhood and for today. I too want to thank the governor for signing this into law and making this all possible today. Thank you for being here and taking time out of your schedule. And really, we clap the governor. And to the city councilors, Michelle Wu, Ed Flynn, and Issa, thank you too for being here and being part of this very special day. You know, Aaron said he can't remember the day he met Uncle Frank, but I sure can remember the day I met Uncle Frank. I was a political upstart out of a small town called Winthrop, and I was trying to run in Boston. And people looked at me and said, "You can't do it without Uncle Frank. You got to go meet him." And meeting him was like, you know, meeting the Pope in many ways. And you had to get through his security and his people, and you sat down and talked to you, and, you know, much like the Pope, he anointed me, I guess. And, you know, he's played a very large role in my life, although I'm probably only a small part of his. But I really think that's the story of Uncle Frank. He's touched so many people in so many small ways, and but such a big part of people's lives in this neighborhood and beyond. And today, you know, we recognize him and the love of his life, Auntie Kay, who I'm sure is smiling down on us all today, and being these rays of sunshine that we feel today. So I think it's really fitting today that we recognize Uncle Frank and we really commemorate his legacy with the naming of this park. But this park isn't his legacy. His legacy is every time a new Bostonian comes to this country and enrolls in an ESL class, because he took that initiative back in the 60s and 70s. His legacy is every time an elderly person is allowed to age in place in a neighborhood that they grew up in because of a senior home that he had a hand in creating. And his legacy is the South Coast Nursing Home. It's every YMCA or student that comes through the YMCA program in Chinatown. His legacy will last long in this community, and so many have already benefited from it, and so many will continue to benefit for it. And for that, we come today to say thank you. Uncle Frank represents a change in Chinatown when people didn't always pay attention to this neighborhood. Well, Uncle Frank, it looks like they're paying attention now. Thank you, and God bless you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce a great friend of Chinatown, a great friend of Uncle Frank's, and someone who I know shares the same sentiment. When you're trying to run in Boston, you got to come talk to Uncle Frank. His Excellency, the Governor of the Commonwealth, Charles Baker.
Well, thank you very much, and it's going to be hard not to repeat a whole bunch of things that have already been said, so I'm going to try not to do that. And I'm just going to start by saying that 50 years ago in 1969, Uncle Frank was asked to co-chair the grievance committee that was put together by Kevin White to raise and deal with issues here in Chinatown. And if you look at the legacy, not of just that work, but of so many different initiatives, and I thought both Representative Michaelwitz and Senator Boncory did a beautiful job of talking about that. If you look at the legacy of services and supports and opportunities that have come from the work that was done by Uncle Frank on the political side, and the sense of community that Auntie Kay created with that cafe and garden center, it really was, in many respects, for decades, the heart of Chinatown, as Chinatown morphed into the beautiful community it is today. And, you know, one of the things that happens, especially when you get older, not that any of us have gotten older, is you see firsthand the history that unfolds around you. You don't have to read about it in a book. You don't have to have somebody tell you about it. You were just old enough to watch it unfold. And there's simply no question that over the course of 50 years, the impact that Uncle Frank and Auntie Kay had on this neighborhood and on this city was profound. And this one, when it came through the legislative process, was not only an easy one for us, it was one of those ones that I wish you could sign with an exclamation point, because there's simply no doubt and no question that these two people have had a profound and positive impact on literally tens of thousands of people who are part of this community and by extension, on this great city we call Boston. This would not be the modern Boston it is today without the work of people like Uncle Frank and Auntie Kay. God bless and congratulations.
Thank you, Governor. Mayor Walsh could not be here. He sends his regards and his apologies, but he wanted to send his Chief of Environment here, Chris Cook, to say a few words. Chris has been such a great leader in the city of Boston. He was one of the best parks commissioners we've ever seen in the city of Boston, and I know he's doing a great job as Chief of Environment as well. Chris Cook, everyone.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Mayor Walsh, he sends his deep regrets that he's not able to attend today. He does have an unforeseen family obligation. I know he would want to be here very much so. I also want to thank the city councilors, which were acknowledged, but there's also a lot of city staff, both past and present here. But I know that Commissioner Finn and Commissioner Willie Gross are both here, so thank you both for joining us. I'll be very brief, but a quick show of hands. Raise your hand if you've ever been personally or professionally helped by Auntie Kay or Uncle Frank. What a testament to go through life knowing that you made people's lives better and that people appreciate you and Auntie Kay on such a level. Parks mean so much, especially in the urban realm. It's where our communities gather, it's where we celebrate, it's where we sometimes mourn, it's where our children learn and play, and they're so important in cities. Right now, at this very moment, there's an archaeological dig, the first ever in Chinatown, taking place so that we can learn from the history of Chinatown. And what's so amazing about today is that years from now, people will know that we took this urban park, this very important place, and stated that it was very important to name it after Auntie Kay and Uncle Frank because of what they did for their community and what they meant for their community. So future archaeological digs will know how important you were to Chinatown and to Boston. So on behalf of the city of Boston, we are so grateful that you've shared so much time with us. Not only being a purchasing agent for 3 mayors in the city of Boston, we all know how long mayors serve for, so that's incredible in its own way. But also the service beyond the city service, and the store at Cafe Corner and what that meant to the community and the way that you convene people. So we could not be more grateful in our small way to participate in today's celebration, and congratulations to you. At this time, I'd like to turn it back over to Aaron Michaelitz.
Thank you, Chris. So we've heard enough from the politicians and from other folks. I think it's time we hear from Uncle Frank. Who wants to hear from Uncle Frank, everyone? Uncle Frank Chin.
Good afternoon. Friends, I'm really honored for having this important park, the gateway to Chinatown, dedicated to me and my wife, Auntie Kay. Although she is no longer with us, she is here today in spirit. Chinatown has always been part of our life. It is a place our family immigrated to work and make our life. We met at Marino Sister Center and married at St. James Church. This event is recognized of the friendship, a true testimony of everyone that is here today. We, like many others, wanted the same thing that other communities have. For us, community work was part of what makes Chinatown special. Because we are an immigrant community, helping one another has always been important. Things such as getting a job, finding housing, working with a government agency, or getting advice. We are blessed to have friends and family members from Chinatown who support this effort. We were also fortunate to have friends on the outside of this community that help us and provide for Chinatown. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize some of those friends. Governor Charles Baker, Mayor Walsh, Representative Aaron Michaelwitz, thank you for submitting my dedication, and Senator Joe Bancoli, Speaker Robert DeLeo, Angela Menino. I want to recognize the long friendship I have with Mayor Tom Menino, which I will always cherish. He was always good to Chinatown. Chinatown had the challenge and is still evolving. Auntie Kay and I were fortunate to be part of its growth. Thank you all for coming and for many years of friendship. Chinatown has been here for over 130 years. When the Greenway come to Chinatown, it makes Boston Chinatown the best Chinatown in the state of in the USA. And a lot of tourists come, take pictures, and we're very grateful for the Greenway and for the government. And lastly, I want to say something. Thanks for all the compliment, but Mo Chi-tung once said, you said it once, said it twice, said it 3 times, it becomes true. But in my case, it's not true. Thank you.
I'd like to ask all the elected officials to come up here. We're going to unveil the sign. And Jesse from the Greenway.